Day 3. So we're still solving a systems of equations here, and we're still focusing on trying to use substitution as our strategy. But as we've discussed, in order to use substitution, one equation needs an isolated alone variable. And this problem, unlike day 1 and day 2, we don't have an equation where it's isolated yet. So we have to isolate a variable before we can use it for substitution. And I'm gonna be strategic. I'm not gonna try and solve this for X or Y because it's gonna be more complicated. I'm gonna go find this normal Y down here that doesn't have a number out front because this should be easier to solve. So I'm gonna take this equation, 5x plus y equals 1, and I'm gonna solve it for y. I want it totally alone. So all I have to do is get rid of 5x, and I just have to move that to the other side for this problem. If that's positive, we're gonna use our inverse operation to get it to the other side. So we'll subtract it. Y equals, now 1 minus 5x, those are not like terms. 1's a normal number, and that negative 5 has an x. So I'm just gonna write those two things right next to each other. 1 minus 5x. And now I have one equation with an isolated variable. Now I have y alone, okay? So now as usual, I can circle my y and box what it's equal to. So I know that y is equal to 1 minus 5x. So now I can go plug that in to my other equation up here where I see the y here. So I'm gonna set that up. So I'm gonna set up 6x plus 4 with big parentheses equals negative 10. All I did was I rewrote that top equation exactly, except for y, I made a huge parentheses there. So now I can take this other equation that I solved, and I know y is equal to the box, and I can plug in that box down here, 1 minus 5x. And now we can solve. Once again, I see distribution, so I need to clean up that multiplication. We haven't touched the 6x. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20x. When you multiply, if one number is negative, the answer is negative. And we haven't touched the negative 10. I'm going to zoom in and combine the like terms on the same side. I see a 6x and a negative 20x. That negative goes with it. Those are like terms because they have the same variable behind it. 6 minus 20x is negative 14x. And we haven't touched that plus 4. And that's still equal to negative 10. I'm going to save the closer number till the end. So we'll subtract the 4 and get negative 14x is equal to negative 14. Negative 14x is multiplication, so I know the opposite is division, and x will equal positive 1. Now remember, in a system of equations, you are not done unless you have an answer for both x and for y. So I need to take that answer and go plug it into one of my original equations. This one seems a little bit simpler, so I'm gonna go plug in x up here. So I'm gonna take 5x plus y equals 1. And I am going to go take my answer. Where is it? There it is. X equals 1. I'm gonna plug it in where I see x up there. So I'm gonna put 5 times 1 plus y equals 1. And now we have a little equation. 5 times 1 is 5. The only thing I need to do is get rid of that 5, so I'll subtract it. And y will equal negative 4. Now your final answer should be x comma y. So I'm gonna put 1 comma negative 4 for my final answer.